right, it's time for this week's edition of Rocky Talk, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Equipment here on RealAg Radio. You can find more info at rockymtn.com. And joining us on the phone this week, we're pleased to welcome back Chad Moskal, AOS manager with Rocky Mountain Equipment. How are things today, Chad?
I'm great. Thank you very much.
So we're talking data, collecting it, how to put it to use, and Rocky Mountain Equipment is rolling out this these new training sessions called Rocky Data U. What exactly is Rocky Data U, Chad?
So Rocky Data U is basically a data school. We're finding our customers are somewhat confused sometimes, or not really sure how to use it, how to get it, how to prepare it. And we just thought, well, what better time to put together a school where we can get the guys in and have them in our setting, able to show them what we can do with it, why we do it. And, as part of our mandate as the AOS group, we want to use every tool that we have in our books to optimize our equipment. So, and data is just one of those things that we can use to do that. So it's a good opportunity for us to get in front of our customers and show them a little bit more on how to make their equipment work as best possible.
So normally when you bring customers in for a clinic, it's around equipment and iron and how to set things up. What does a data school look like?
Yeah, so a data school, we do clinics all the time. Each branch will do 3 or 4 in a year, and a lot of times it is focused on the actual iron. How do I make a sprayer spray as best as possible, or how do I make the combine perform? But a lot of times what we've done is we've overlooked one of the more important things, and that is the data that we're collecting. So what we're doing here is we're focusing on the data. We're focusing on how to get it, how to use it.
Can you expand on that, Chad? What types of things the course will cover? What people could expect if they attend Rocky Data U?
Okay, so I think there's 3 main functions or 3 main goals that we're trying to achieve. And the first one, I think, when it comes to data, it's probably the most overused saying out there is garbage in is garbage out. And so, the first thing we're going to do is help get you set up so that the data that you're collecting is the proper data, it's reliable data, and it's data that can be used in the future for whatever purpose the producer's wanting it for. And then the second one is, how do we take that data and turn it into something that the customer or the producer can use? How do we make it into something that actually makes sense to that individual person? The third one is, how do we use that data to compare what we've done in the past and to make decisions for the future? So it's those 3 things that we're really going to focus on.
So right now, I think most farms have the capability, whether they're doing it or not, to collect yield data. Some farms have weather stations where you're collecting weather data. What are you all encompassing, and how do you see this evolving, I guess, in terms of farmers adopting and collecting this data, adopting technology to process it and interpret it to help make better decisions? What do you see as the future, and where a course like Rocky Data U could help producers get to in this area?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that's probably coming in the future, a little bit more than it is now, is traceability. The consumer of the food that we grow is more and more asking, where does my food come from? How is it handled? How is it treated? And I think producers are going to have to be ready for being able to explain and provide that information when they go to sell their product. So that's going to be one of the big things that we're looking at, being able to do that. Again, you mentioned the yield data. What decisions can be made based on 10, 15 years of history, of what you've taken off the field. So if that data is accurate, it's easy to translate, it's easy to make decisions based on that. We're going to be more productive. So, and then I think the last thing is when we look at the future of farming, and it, we might be looking at 10 years or 5 years down the road, the exchange of data is going to be super important, whether it be APIs with other companies, or even when we look at autonomous tractors, the transfer of data is going to be super important. And I think it's Rocky's role to prepare our customers for that future in farming.
How can people get more information on these school sessions if they'd like to participate, Chad?
So the best way that you can do is when we get them all set up, they'll be on our website, and you can also contact your local branch.
All right. Again, that website, rockymtn.com. Chad Moskal, AOS Manager with Rocky Mountain Equipment, joining us for this week's edition of Rocky Talk. RealAg Radio will continue right after this.